Hello and a very good evening. You're watching the news at 6 on Rajya Sabha television with me, Frank Pereira. Here are the headlines. Vice presidential election to take place on August 5th. Poll to be notified on July 4th. Election result to be declared the same day. Prime Minister Narendra Modi delivers a stern message to cow vigilantes, reiterates that killing people in the name of cow protection is just not acceptable. Congress to keep away from the special midnight meeting in Parliament tomorrow to announce implementation of the GST regime. Left leaders also inclined to skip the event. Trailer of Rajya Sabha TV production Ragdesh unveiled in Parliament. The film, written and directed by Tigmanshu Dhulia, is scheduled to hit screens worldwide on July 28th. And Trump administration issues new criteria for visa applicants from 6 Muslim-majority countries. New rules state that those without close relationships will not be able to enter the US. Well, the Election Commission today announced the dates to the election to the office of the Vice President. The election that will be notified on July 4th will take place before the term of Vice President Mohammad Hamid Ansari ends on August 10th. Here's a detailed report.
The Election Commission announced that the election to the office of the Vice President will take place on August 5th. Results will be announced the same day. The election will be notified on July 4th, while nominations can be submitted by July 18th. After the scrutiny on July 19th, the last date to withdraw nominations will be July 21st.
The Vice President is elected by the members of the Electoral College, consisting of members of both houses of Parliament in accordance with the system of proportional representation by means of the single transferable vote. Date on which counting, if required, shall be taken is also 5th August 2017, that is Saturday.
The Vice President is also the ex officio chairman of the Rajya Sabha. The term of the Vice President, Mohammad Hamid Ansari, is coming to an end on August 10th. He has held the post for 2 terms in a row. Pranav Goswami's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, the scrutiny of nominations for the presidential poll took place today. The nominations of all presidential candidates, barring those of NDA nominee Ramnath Kovind and opposition-backed Meera Kumar, were rejected in the scrutiny. About 95 persons had filed their nominations, including Kumar and Kovind. Except the 2 main contenders, the nominations of the rest were rejected, as none of them were proposed and backed by the required number of members of the Electoral College. Opposition candidate Meera Kumar filed her nomination paper on the last day of filing nominations on Wednesday. NDA's Ramnath Kovind filed his nomination paper on June 23rd. Election for the next President of India will be held on July 17th. Counting of votes will take place on July 20th. Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has once again hit out at cow vigilantes. In an emotional message from Ahmedabad, Modi said that killing people in the name of cows is unacceptable.
In a message to cow vigilantes, Prime Minister Narendra Modi reiterated that killing people in the name of cow protection is not acceptable. The Prime Minister was speaking at the centenary celebrations of the Sabarmati Ashram in Ahmedabad.
अहिंसा ये हम लोगों का जीवन धर्म रहा। हम कैसे आपात हो रहे हैं? डॉक्टर को मार दें, अकस्मात हो जाए, ड्राइवर को मार दें, गाय के नाम पर इंसान को मार दें, कि गाय के नाम पर किसी की हत्या की जाए। वो निर्दोष है कि गुनहगार है, वो कानून का काम करेगा। इंसान को कानून हाथ में लेने का हक नहीं है।
Prime Minister Modi's remarks come in the wake of several incidents of lynching and murder by self-styled cow vigilante groups over rumors of cow slaughter. Earlier this month, 16-year-old Hafiz Junaid was killed on board a Mathura-bound train by people who taunted his family by repeatedly calling them anti-nationals and beefeaters. This is the second time that the Prime Minister has spoken against cow vigilantism. Last August, Modi criticized the actions of self-styled cow vigilantes and asked the states to prepare dossier on them. He said that inflicting violence went against the ideals of the father of the nation.
महात्मा गांधी और विनोबा भावे से बढ़कर के कोई नहीं होता। अगर गाय की भक्ति करनी है, गाय की रक्षा करनी है, तो गांधी जी ने और विनोबा जी ने हमें उत्तम राह दिखाई। जिस देश में महात्मा गांधी जैसे महापुरुष ने अहिंसा का पाठ पढ़ाया, क्या हो गया हमें?
The Prime Minister started his 2-day visit to his home state on Thursday and is scheduled to attend programs in Ahmedabad, Rajkot, Mudasa and Gandhinagar. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Army Chief General Bipin Rawat is in Sikkim to take stock of the situation along the Sino-India border. The visit comes in the backdrop of a standoff between Indian troops and Chinese army along the international border. General Rawat will take stock of operational matters. He will also interact with top commanders in the formation headquarters of the force. China had accused Indian troops of crossing the boundary in the Sikkim section and demanded their immediate withdrawal. Two army jawans were injured in Pakistani firing along the line of control in Poonch district of Jammu and Kashmir. Troops guarding the border retaliated and the exchange of fire lasted for 1 hour. This was the 22nd incident of ceasefire violation this month. Earlier on Wednesday, Pakistani army violated the ceasefire with unprovoked firing on areas along the LOC in Rajouri and Poonch districts of Jammu and Kashmir. Meanwhile, Pakistan summoned India's acting Deputy High Commissioner over the alleged ceasefire violation by Indian troops in Kashmir, which it claimed killed a civilian. It also urged the Indian side to respect the 2003 ceasefire arrangement and investigate incidents of ceasefire violations. Well, the Congress will keep away from the special midnight June 30th meeting convened by the government to announce the implementation of the GST regime. The decision was taken after Congress President Sonia Gandhi met former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh along with other leaders on Thursday. The party has had wide-ranging discussions with other parties over attending the special midnight event. While some leaders felt GST was the party's brainchild and therefore they should attend the June 30th event, others who favoured not attending it said that the tax was being implemented in haste and will lead to the harassment of small traders and businessmen. Left leaders were also not inclined to attend the special GST meeting and are likely to skip it along with other opposition parties. The Trinamool Congress has also announced its decision to boycott the event.
देश में जो कुछ भी हो रहा, हमारे प्रधानमंत्री चुप्पी साधे हैं, बीजेपी के कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर चुप्पी साधे हैं, जो वरना दिन में 10 बाइट्स देते हैं उल्टी सीधी। बीजेपी के चीफ मिनिस्टर्स चुप्पी साधे हुए हैं कि इस स्वतंत्र भारत में भारतीय जनता पार्टी के राज में क्या हो रहा।
This is an economic integration of the nation. That way it's a historic. And then what are they talking? We are discussing about a special session meeting of the parliamentarians about introduction of GST. They are talking of some farmers. They are talking of they are talking of something else.
Well, the trailer of Rajya Sabha television's first feature film, Ragdesh, was released today in Parliament House. This was the first time that a trailer of a film was launched inside the Parliament premises. Based on the infamous trials of Indian National Army during the Second World War era, the film will be released worldwide on July 28th.
Captain Shah Nawaz Khan, Captain P.K. Sehgal, Section 41, waging war against the king.
The trailer of Rajya Sabha TV production Ragdesh was unveiled in Parliament on Thursday. The film, written and directed by Tigmanshu Dhulia and produced by Rajya Sabha TV CEO Gurdeep Sappal, is scheduled to hit the screens on 28 July. Starring Kunal Kapoor, Amit Saad and Mohit Marwa in lead roles, the movie is based on the Indian National Army trials during World War II.
और ड्रामा ये हुआ कि उनको इस पूरे एपिसोड के बाद इस देश से लाल किले से जाना पड़ गया। वो ब्रिटिश जहां फांसी देना चाहते थे, सुभाष चंद्र बोस वहां नहीं पहुंचे, लेकिन भारत की सरकार सॉवरेंटी का वो सिंबल बन गया। तो एक फिल्म के लिए पहली चीज़ है एंटरटेनमेंट और एक अच्छा प्लॉट, एक अच्छी कहानी। तो हम लोगों को लगा कि इसके अंदर हिस्ट्री भी है और इसका प्लॉट भी है और एक ऐसा चैप्टर है जो इस देश के लोगों को जानने की रुचि होगी।
एंगेजिंग, एंटरटेनिंग, इंफॉर्मेटिव और हिस्टोरिकल है। अब हिस्टोरिकल आपने सबने देखा है, ये हम लोग की फिल्में हिस्ट्री को किस तरह से तोड़ मोड़ कर अकबर भी गाना गाने लगते हैं, ये भी करने लगते हैं। तो माफ़ करिएगा, इसमें सुभाष चंद्र बोस गाना नहीं गा रहे। तो इतिहास को बिल्कुल सच्चे ढंग से पेश किया गया है और असली बात है कि ये पूरा दौर था वो अपने आप में इतना ड्रामेटिक है कि उसमें कुछ एक्स्ट्रा ड्रामा क्रिएट करने की एज ए राइटर मुझको मेरे कोलीग्स को जो राइटर जिन्होंने मेरे साथ लिखी है फिल्म, हम लोगों को ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ी।
The film shows the Red Fort trials of 3 officers of the British Indian Army, Colonel Prem Sehgal, Colonel Gurbaksh Singh Dhillon and Major General Shah Nawaz Khan, who joined Azad Hind Fauj of Subhash Chandra Bose and fought alongside the Japanese forces against British imperialism. All 3 were court-martialed for waging war against the British king and charged with treason and murder. The trials marked a defining moment in the history of the Indian freedom struggle, triggering a popular upsurge against the British and mutinies in the armed forces.
Feeling slightly shamed at the fact that, we didn't know enough about such an important part of our history. And I feel like a movie like this is really, really important. Firstly, not only is it very entertaining, not only is there lots of drama, action, everything that a good film has, but at the same time, it's, highlighting such an important part of our history, which I think the young generation really doesn't know anything about. So I feel like this is a really, really important film and I'm really happy to be part of it.
एक अलग सी एनर्जी जागृत हुई, एक अलग सा पैशन, एक अलग सा देश के लिए प्यार और कहीं ना कहीं बुरा भी लगा कि यार हम अपनी मॉडर्न लाइफ में इतने खो जाते हैं कि we kind of have forgotten all these contributions by these great men. So it's great to be a part of such a beautiful film. It's great to it's coming out and people will get to see it.
The first teaser of Ragdesh was unveiled by the makers of the film on 23rd June. The film is scheduled for release on 28 July in over 800 cinema halls across the country. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, India's latest communication satellite GSAT-17 was successfully launched from the spaceport of Kourou in French Guyana. GSAT-17 carries payloads in normal C-band, extended C-band and S-band to provide various communication services. It also carries equipment from meteorological data relay and satellite-based search and rescue services provided by earlier INSAT satellites. GSAT-17 will strengthen ISRO's current fleet of 17 telecommunications satellites. This was the 3rd satellite launched by ISRO this month, the other 2 being first developmental flight of GSLV Mk3 and PSLV C-38 missions, both of which were launched from Sriharikota spaceport.
18:15 and right on time, well, with a 5-minute delay. Ariane 5 began her mission.
Well, here's a roundup of the other news from across the country and nationwide. The Bharatiya Udyog Vyapar Mandal has backed the 3-day strike of textile traders against GST that has been extended to June 30th. Textile traders announced the strike against the imposition of GST. They are demanding simplification of the new laws and rules. They also want the stakeholders be educated before the GST rollout. Centre today approved 795 crore rupees to Karnataka for providing relief to farmers who lost their winter crop in 2016 due to severe drought. After 3 years of drought in a row, the state has received fairly good rain so far, except in 7 or 8 districts. The state government is keeping a close watch on the monsoons and taking all measures to help farmers during the ongoing sowing season of summer crops. The annual Yatra to Amarnath Shrine began today from the twin routes of Pahalgam and Baltal. Adequate security arrangements have been put in place to ensure the 45-day pilgrimage passes off peacefully. This year, the Amarnath Yatra will be 8 days shorter than last year and will conclude on Shravan Purnima on August 7th. It's time for a short break now, but news and updates will continue on the other side. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Key areas where Roorkee has contributed heavily is the building of all the dams in the country. Either the University of Roorkee or Thompson College of Engineering was directly involved, or it was supplying the manpower who were. Engineering is not about building things alone. Engineering is about building theoretical models. So the most difficult part of engineering is actually done before you go to actual fabrication or manufacturing.
Watch Eureka with Professor Ajit Kumar Chaturvedi, Director, Indian Institute of Technology, Roorkee, only on Rajya Sabha television.
I think they're ready to surrender.
INA की बागी फौजियों पर अंग्रेज देशद्रोह का मुकदमा चलाएंगे। उन तीनों के बचने के चांसेस कम हैं।
ये कोई आम केस नहीं, कोर्ट मार्शल है। बोला भाई, एक केस आप कांग्रेस के लिए नहीं, सुभाष बोस के लिए लड़ी।
Lieutenant Gulbaksh Singh Dhillon, Captain Shah Nawaz Khan, Captain P.K. Sehgal. Section 41, waging war against the king. You are charged with murder. Do you plead guilty to the charges read out?
ईमानदारी से आजादी के लिए लड़ने वाली अगर कोई फौज है तो उसका नाम है आजाद हिंद फौज.
The safety, honor and welfare of your country comes first, always.
British Indian Army hand you over to the Japanese Imperial Army.
हिंदुस्तान और अंग्रेजों के बीच एक धागा था, वो टूट गया.
इस बार कुछ ऊपर नीचे हुआ तो देश में बवाल मच जाएगा. अब जनता किसी अंग्रेज को नहीं छोड़ेगी.
रात दिन अपने सीने विच वजदी आजादी दे राग नू बंद कर ला.
अंग्रेजी अफसरों ने साडी हिफाजत नहीं की, तो वो हमारी वफादारी के हकदार किस तरह हो सकते हैं?
आज हिंदुस्तानी फौज के पास अपना असली मकसद है, हिंदुस्तान की आजादी.
तुम मुझे खून दो, मैं तुम्हें आजादी दूंगा.
ये मुकदमा पूरी इंडियन नेशनल आर्मी का है.
क्योंकि हमने वो दिन देखा है जब हमें ऐसा लगा था कि हमने हिंदुस्तान को वाकई आजाद कर दिया.
देश की आजादी की लड़ाई कोर्ट में लड़ी जा रही है और इस वक्त पूरा देश एक साथ तैनात है.
This trial and its judgment shall be remembered throughout history.
Welcome back. You're watching Rajya Sabha television. Well, United States President Donald Trump put a temporary ban on all refugees and travelers from 6 predominantly Muslim countries. The administration set new guidelines for visa applicants from these Muslim countries. The new measures are expected to be implemented from today.
The Trump administration on Wednesday issued new criteria for visa applicants from 6 Muslim-majority countries. The criteria also apply to refugees who have close family or business ties to the United States. The move came after the Supreme Court on Monday partially restored President Donald Trump's travel ban. Earlier, it was put on hold by lower courts.
And this is the protection of the nation from foreign terrorist entry into the United States. We all know what that means. Protection of the nation from foreign terrorist entry into the United States. That's big stuff.
The new rules state that those without close relationship, defined as parent, spouse, child, son or daughter-in-law, will not be able to enter the US. The definition of close relationships includes grandparents, extended family and grandchildren. Also exempt from these rules are those or educational ties to the country. Those who already hold valid visas won't be affected. The restrictions will be valid for the next 90 days until the Supreme Court reviews the case in October. The new rules will affect people from Iran, Libya, Syria, Somalia, Sudan and Yemen. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, here's a roundup of the other international news and global buzz. British Prime Minister Theresa May will face a major test of her fragile parliamentary authority on Thursday when MPs in the House of Commons vote on passing the Queen's speech. Prime Minister May announced details of her legislative programme last week. On Thursday afternoon, MPs from all parties will decide to either approve or vote it down. Iraqi forces slowed down their advance in regaining Mosul's old city in order to protect local residents. The city is still partly occupied by the Islamic State militants. According to Iraqi Ministry of National Defense, Iraqi forces regained many districts on Tuesday. Now they are gradually getting close to the central area of the old city. US Labor Secretary Alexander Costa has called for increasing the minimum salary of foreign workers on H-1B visas. Acosta told a congressional panel that it will address a large extent the problem of replacing American workers by foreign workers coming to the US on H-1B visas. The Parole Board of Israel's prison service on Thursday granted former Prime Minister Ehud Olmert early release from his 27-month corruption sentence. The former Prime Minister was convicted in 2014 in a wide-ranging case that accused him of accepting bribes to promote a real estate project. Let's now shift focus and bring you some sports news. After beating England in their ICC Women's World Cup 2017 opener, India is facing West Indies in their second match of the tournament today at Taunton. India won the toss and opted to field first against the West Indies. West Indies were 162 for 8 in 50 overs a short while ago. The Indian women cricket team beat England in the opening match by 35 runs, while West Indies lost to Australia in the tournament opener by 8 wickets. Well, that's it on this newscast. Have a good evening.